close your eyes for a second. Imagine you're standing in a wide, open field on a warm summer night. You look up, and there it is, the moon. It's beautiful, right? It's that glowing silver coin that has inspired every poet, every lover, and every dreamer since the beginning of human history. It looks peaceful. It looks like a silent guardian watching over us while we sleep. But now, I want you to open your eyes and look closer. Because that peaceful silver coin is a lie. If you could actually stand on that surface right now, you wouldn't feel inspired. You would feel a level of primal terror that is hard to put into words. You aren't standing on a pretty nightlight. You are standing on a 4-billion-year-old frozen gray skull that is floating in a graveyard of infinite blackness. Buzz Aldrin, the second man to ever walk there, called it magnificent desolation. But don't let the magnificent part fool you. He was describing a world that is completely, utterly dead. A place where humanity was never meant to be. The ground beneath your boots is a fine gray powder that hasn't been disturbed in 1 billion years. There is no wind, there is no sound. There is only a crushing, heavy silence that feels like it's trying to swallow you whole. This stillness is the most dangerous lie in the entire solar system. We talk about going back to the moon like it's a fun field trip or a stepping stone to Mars. But today, I want to show you why the moon is actually one of the scariest places in the known universe. I want to show you why the 12 men who walked there were lucky to make it home, and why staying there might be the most dangerous thing humanity has ever tried to do. Let's start with something your brain is going to have a really hard time wrapping itself around: the distance. When you look at a diagram of the Earth and the Moon in a textbook, they usually look like two balls sitting right next to each other. It looks like a quick hop, skip, and a jump away. But that is a massive lie. The Moon is about 238,000 miles away. To give you a better idea of how huge that gap is, listen to this. You could take every single planet in our entire solar system, Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, Venus, all of them, and you could line them up side by side in the space between the Earth and the Moon, and you would still have room left over. When the Apollo astronauts looked out their tiny window, they weren't just away from home. They were floating in a void so vast that if anything went wrong, they were effectively on another side of an invisible ocean. There is no rescue mission when you are that far out. You are on your own in a way no human has ever been on Earth. Michael Collins, the man who stayed in the ship while Neil Armstrong walked below, is often called the loneliest man in history. When his ship went behind the dark side of the Moon, he was cut off from all radio contact with Earth. He was in a total, crushing silence where he was completely separated from every other living thing in the universe. Imagine that. Just you, a thin metal wall, and the infinite blackness of a graveyard. But here is the really scary part. The Moon isn't just empty, it's hostile. If you landed on the Moon, the first thing you'd notice, besides the terrifying lack of color, is the dirt. On Earth, dirt is soft. It's worn down by wind and water for millions of years. Lunar soil, or regolith, is a nightmare. Because there is no wind and no water on the Moon, the dirt is actually made of tiny, microscopic shards of glass and rock. It is as sharp as a razor blade. Imagine the smallest, nastiest pieces of broken glass you can think of, and then imagine an entire world covered in it, miles deep. When the astronauts walked on the moon, this dust ate through their boots. It jammed their equipment. It even managed to get inside their sealed suits. And when they took their helmets off inside the lunar module, they smelled something. Every single moonwalker reported the same thing. The moon smells like burnt gunpowder. That smell was the dust reacting with oxygen for the first time in billions of years. It was in a state of chemical suspended animation, and the moment it touched the air in their cabin, it woke up. It's so fine that it gets deep into your lungs and stays there forever. It's like breathing in a million tiny needles. Harrison Schmitt, an Apollo 17 astronaut, even got lunar hay fever. His eyes burned, his throat swelled, and he couldn't stop sneezing. The moon was literally trying to reject him. But it gets weirder. On the sunlit side, the sun's radiation gives the ground a positive electrical charge. This actually makes the tiniest dust grains levitate. They hover above the ground like a ghost. There is a persistent envelope of floating glass around the moon, and at the boundary between light and shadow, these particles can fly sideways in a bizarre, silent dust storm. Imagine standing there in that glass dust desert. You decide to scream as loud as you can. What happens? Nothing. Absolute, perfect silence. Because the moon has no atmosphere, there is no air to carry sound waves. This silence is something humans aren't built for. On Earth, the sky is a comforting blue. On the moon, the sky is an ink-black pit. Edgar Mitchell from Apollo 14 described the unsettling realization of how fragile Earth looked against that hostile, uncaring void. And because there is no air to scatter light, your eyes start to play tricks on you. Neil Armstrong noted that everything on the moon looks unnaturally clear. Distances are impossible to judge. A crater that looks 100 yards away might actually be a mile away. It's a dreamlike and disorienting feeling where you can't trust your own eyes. Every step is a potential death trap. And while the ground is trying to shred your lungs, the sky is trying to shred your DNA. The moon has no magnetic field to protect you. On the moon, you get the full dose of galactic cosmic rays, particles moving at nearly the speed of light. They pass through the moon's surface, through spacecraft walls, and straight through human tissue. They're like invisible bullets that rip through your genetic code. And here is the most terrifying part. Adding more shielding can actually make it worse. When a cosmic ray hits a thick metal wall, it shatters the atoms in that wall, creating a shower of even more radiation inside. It's like a bullet hitting a wall and turning into a shotgun blast. As we sit here on our warm blue planet, with our air and our birds and our soft dirt, it's easy to forget what's really out there. The moon is a reminder that the universe doesn't care about us. It is ancient, it is cold, and it is incredibly dangerous. The moon has been there for 4 billion years, and it will be there long after we are gone, silently watching the Earth with its cratered, lifeless eyes. It is a beautiful sight in the night sky, but never forget, it is a beautiful mask over a terrifying face. We are lucky to have it, but we should never, ever feel comfortable there. The moon isn't our home, it's a warning. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the darker side of space, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. We're exploring the most extreme corners of the universe every week, and you won't want to miss what we find next. Until next time, keep looking up, but remember what's looking back.